So if you serve students who have developmental disabilities in your church classroom, you may have noticed something. Sometimes the lessons we teach that engage most of the class don't connect with our students with disabilities. But the good news is, the good news can be shared with everyone. Today we're going to take a look at some reasons why what we're doing isn't connecting and what we can do differently. Hey there, why so down? Looks like you got some good news to share with your class. Oh, you want all your students to hear the good news, but you've noticed some of them, like your students who learn differently, aren't connecting? So you aren't sure what to do? Well, guess what? I've got some good news to share with you. Disability inclusion and the good news, adapting church curriculum to reach all types of learners. When it comes to sharing the gospel with students, it's important to understand this includes all different types of learners, like students who have disabilities. And this means that sometimes the way we teach lessons that engage most of the class won't connect with them in the same way. But the good news is lessons can be adapted, and today we're going to take a look at 4 key points on how to do this. Before we get started, there's a few things to remember. Don't forget that everyone is unique, and just because you have 2 students who have the same diagnosis doesn't mean they'll need the same adaptations. So don't put students in a box or limit their potential. Remember that many students, including those who are nonverbal, understand much more than they can express, so always presume competence. Then before you create adapted lessons, evaluate what is already working in the classroom and what isn't. This will help you know where making adaptations would be helpful. Okay, so let's get started. Number 1, multisensory teaching. Some people learn best when they hear something, some when they see something, and some when they're moving their bodies while they learn. Putting these all together gives us multisensory teaching, and that helps promote learning. Here's an example of an interactive Bible story. Have someone read a Bible story. Hearing the story gives auditory input.
And it's called The Lost Sheep.
Print out Bible characters onto cardstock and let the student see each one. Many students learn visually. Then have the student hold up a character as it's mentioned in the story. Hands-on activities further promote retention. And keep the participation going by asking students to make sound effects and answer questions along the way. Number 2, break it up, repeat, and give praise. Many students who have disabilities also have shorter attention spans, so instead of trying to keep their attention longer, why not make the lessons shorter? Planning for breaks keeps you in control, but it sets the student up for success. It's a win-win. And it could look like this. Start with a short story, then a short break, a memory verse, a break, a craft, a break, and then review the story at the end. Repeating the theme in each activity and reviewing the story reinforces learning, and this is especially helpful for some students who benefit from having more time to process new information. And when a student does engage, give lots of praise. The bigger the better. This helps communicate what desired behaviors look like and helps students become successful. Oh, and remember that multisensory teaching stuff? Well, you can do it in all your activities too. Let's look at a few fun options for the memory verse. Here's the memory verse jump. You break up the verses into short phrases, then have the kids jump or roll from circle to circle as you say the verse together. Or you want to have some sensory fun? Try shaving cream. Have the student write a word while you read the verse. Incorporating hands-on experiences helps promote learning. And hand-over-hand techniques work well for students who need extra support. Number 3, incorporate preferred interests. All students have favorite things. However, for some students, especially those on the autism spectrum, including a favorite interest will increase engagement. There are endless ways to do this, but here's a fun example. Let's say your student loves dinosaurs. Incorporate them by printing out pictures and putting part of the Bible story on the back of each one. Then hide them around the room and invite your students on a dino hunt. Once all the pictures are found, put them in order and read the story. You get bonus points if you use dinosaur character voices. Number 4, meet the student where she is. Many students, such as some who have autism, have a hard time with abstract concepts. Socializing with peers, and following multi-step directions. In other words, most of the things that many of our classroom games are built around. So have some alternatives ready. If abstract thinking is challenging, have a buddy read the student a Bible story that explains the theme you want them to learn instead of using an object lesson or metaphor. If a student struggles with socializing, allow them to have a quiet table activity available if that makes them feel more comfortable. And if following multi-step directions is tough, ask a peer to show them what to do, one step at a time. Well, I think we learned a lot about how to reach all types of learners today, but there's one more thing before you go. Remember that adaptation never ends. As our students grow and change, the methods we use to reach them will grow and change too. The more they master, the more we can teach them. And that is, well, you guessed it, good news. Thanks for joining us today. See you again soon.